Welcome back to video 5 in this series of creating a simple to-do list app in LiveCode Create. In the previous videos, we've had a little tour of the LiveCode Create platform. We've built the UI and we've created our collection and had a look at data binding. In this video, this is where everything comes together via actions. Actions are essentially the script that makes the app work without actually having to write the script yourself. Hopefully when we go through this, you get a real feel for what LiveCode Create can be. Although it's still in a preview stage, I think you'll really enjoy this video. So you remember from the previous videos that I said that we were going to duplicate this onto all of the other screens, but we wanted to wait to add actions to it first. So let's start there. Let's add an action to our navigation rail. First, make sure that you're in your My Tasks layout. You'll know this by seeing it right above the layout window here. And then highlight your navigation rail. So select it. And let's get our first look at the actions editor. If you right click and go edit actions. So here we are inside the new actions editor. And we're going to start off by adding a new handler. This is essentially the trigger that kicks off the series of events that we're about to add here. And the handler that we want to add is a click. So when the user clicks, we want something to happen. So if you think about the navigation rail, we've got the action button at the top and we've got the little destination icons, and we want something different to happen depending on which one is clicked. What we want to happen is if they click the blue floating action button, that they are taken to the add tasks screen. So let's look at adding that first. So the navigation rail is built up of various components within the one widget. And what we want to do is, if the click component is the floating action button, then we want to navigate to the other page. So let's first add this. Now here we want to add something within inside this if statement. So we want to add a child action. So that will be inside of the if statement. And we want to navigate to layout, add tasks. Go ahead and add that action. Now we want to end this if statement. Now we don't want to stay inside it, so we're going to go here and we're going to add after, and we're going to add a new if statement. This time it's not about the components, it's about the actual individual destinations. So when you click the list destination, you want to go back to the My Tasks screen. Let's have a look at how you do that. So if the click destination name is, now something to be aware of here is you need to, in this instance I know that the destination label name for the list icon is label. You just want to be aware of what that is when going into here. But it'll be label for you as well in this instance. So if the click destination name is, enter value, label. Again, we want to do something inside of this if statement, so we'll add a child. Navigate to layout, My Tasks. So that brings them back to the task list. Add this action. So let's close this here, and in doing so that activates our action. Now I mentioned earlier that script is created when you create an action. Now you don't have to write the script, you don't even need to know how the script works, but it is created and it is something that you can look at and learn from. So if I just show you that real quick, if I right click and go to edit script, and we can open up our script editor. All of this script has been written for you, and that is based on the actions which you've just created. So you can see if the component is the floating action button, then we're going to the stack add tasks, and if the destination title is label, then we're going to the stack My Tasks. So if this button here is clicked, we want to go to add tasks. And if this button here is clicked, we want to return to the My Tasks section. Let's have a little look at that just now. Actually, before I do that, one very important thing, now is the time to duplicate this to all of the other screens. So if we right click and duplicate and go duplicate to, we want it on the edit task screen. And we also want it on the add tasks screen. It's quite hard to say that. Okay. So let's have a look at this in action now. You'll remember earlier that we set some sort of hover states in that around this. Here you're seeing that in action. So if I click this button here, assuming our action has been set up correctly, this takes me to the add task screen. And if I click this here, this takes me back to the My Task screen. So that's all working really nice, and that's our first taste of actions. We've set up our navigation without having to write a single line of script ourselves. Now next up, what we want to do is, you'll remember that we have a list here. Now you can't see it because there's no data currently in our collection. So we want to create an action which sends data to that collection if a user fills out our add task form. So we can, still in run mode, so I can click here to get to our add task screen. I'm going to switch back to edit mode now. So what we want to happen here is when a user types something into each of these fields and then clicks this button, we want that information to be sent to our collection. And because our simple list is bound to that collection, that data will then show in the list. So let's see how we go ahead and achieve that. If we go into add task, click that, so it is highlighted, and then right click, and let's go back into the actions editor. Now we're going to add a new handler again, and it's going to be the same as last time. It's going to be on click, add this action. And this time what we want to do is create a new record in our collection, and we want to create a new record with data. So we want the data that we type into the widgets to be sent along to our collection when a new record is created. So you can see that it's asking us which collection we want to create the record in, and we've only got one, which is our to-do list. And these are the fields that we set in the collection in an earlier video. This is our category field, our description field, and our title field. And it's asking us what data we would like to send to each. We can just type something in manually, but we don't want that in this case. We want it to be dynamic. We want it to fetch the text value of a widget. So what we're asking it to do is fetch the value the user has typed into one of those field widgets. So for the category one, I want that to be hooked up to the category widget, which is our drop-down field. For the description, I want that to be hooked up to our description widget. And for the title, I want that to be hooked up to our title widget. And we'll go ahead and add that action. Now, final thing to add here is we just want to push the changes, which syncs the changes up to our cloud database. So if I go push changes and add this action. Now that's everything that we need in order to be able to achieve what we need to achieve. We'll go ahead and close this. Now, as before, script is created here. The script that has specifically been created in this instance is script that will change in future. So just be aware of that. Certainly have a look at it and learn what's there if you want to, but just be very aware that script will 100% be changing in future releases. But let's now actually test this out and see if we can get this working. So we'll switch back into run mode and we'll type in a task. So it's quite late in December now, so let's keep it topical. I need to post Christmas cards. I'm a little bit late on doing this, but I think I've got time. Write the Christmas cards and post to neighbors. Now that is a personal task, it's not a work task. So we'll go personal. And I'm going to add this task to my, or I'm just going to go ahead and add this task and it's it to our collection. So I've hit add task. You can see that it says it's pushed the data to the cloud. Let's go back and have a look on our my tasks page. There you can see that we've posted Christmas cards to is appeared in our list. That is now showing in our, so if I now have a little look inside our collections, you can see that we now have one record in our collection. So that's worked exactly as you would imagine. Now let's just add a couple more for the next part of this demonstration. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to write something like do a new design for Actions Editor. Continue with your Actions v2 design, because we're redesigning the Actions Editor. So this would be a work task. So I'm now going to go ahead and add this one. And that has been pushed. And I'm just going to add one more whilst I'm in here. And it'll just be, I don't know, attend meeting. Attend the end of year team meeting. Remember to do slides. And that is also going to be a work task. So let's add this to our to-do list. Again, it's been pushed to the cloud. Let's go back and have a little look in our My Tasks. So there you go. We've got 3 tasks in our list. Now there's just a couple of things left to do to finish, to kind of round this all out. You can see here that we've got a mark as complete option. And you'll remember earlier we wanted to be able to edit tasks as well. So there's 2 things we want to do here. We want to create an action that if this button here is clicked, which is the right section of our simple list, then we want to delete it from our collection because that's now been completed. If any other section has been clicked, so the row has been clicked, but not this section here, we want to go to the edit edit task screen that we made earlier, and we want to show the data, so it gives us the opportunity to edit that information, edit that task in the collection. Let's have a quick look at that now. So if we go into edit mode again, and then select your simple list widget, and if you right click and go back into edit actions. So if we add a new handler again, and it's a click, and so what we want to do here is similar to the navigation rail. The simple list is a single widget that's made up of multiple components. So if the click component is the right section, which is where we are showing our blue button at the moment, so if it is the right section, now just as before, we want to have a child action within this if statement. So if we go to here and we add child, so if the click component is right section, we want to delete record, and we can delete a specific record, but what's more useful here is delete the record of the row of the list that was clicked. So that just knows that if I'm deleting the row 3, and that'll delete the whatever record that belongs to in our collection. So let's add this action. Now there's one more if statement we want to do. We want to get out of this section now, so we'll go here and we'll go add after. And this time we're going to do exactly the same, but with one small tweak. So we're going to go if the click component is, again, we want to do right section, But this time, instead of the condition being is, we want the condition to be is not, which means if they click any other section that's not the right section, then we could do something else. So let's add that action. And then we're going to create a child within this one. And what we want to do here is we want to navigate to layout. And this is where we want to navigate to our edit tasks screen. So our edit tasks screen is where we're going to go here. But we need to also tell it which record to show on our edit tasks screen. So still within this if statement, add a child action here. We're going to use the go to records action, which means when we navigate to the layout, we're going to a specific record. And we could just say a specific value, but in this instance, we're going to say the row of the list that was clicked. Okay, let's add this action. So that concludes everything that we need to be able to achieve this next step in the simple to-do list. Let's close this. Okay, again, script has been created here. It is something that you can go into the script editor and look at. But let's try and just run this and see it working in action. So let's just assume that I've done the new design for the actions editor, and I'm going to now mark that as complete. So I'm going to click the right section of this row, and that has got rid of that from my list. Now let's say I want to do a slight edit to this one here. Let's go ahead and click this. So you can see there's obviously some formatting things happening here, but you can see that it's taking me to my task list, and I can just simply update. In fact, if I add one more action here, if I go into here, just the screen recording that I'm using is just making things lag ever so slightly, but we'll get there. We're almost finished with this. Okay, if I go into, and all I really want to do is I just want to push any changes that that I make here. So if I go to edit actions, and all I want to happen here is that all changes are pushed. So unclick, and that just syncs everything up to our cloud data store. So push changes, add this action. And I will close this, and we'll go back into run mode. So you can see that clicking it has taken me here, and I can just I can say that I don't let's say attend big meeting. Let's just make a visual change so we're aware of what's happened, and we'll just go ahead and update our task. Now if I go back to our task list, you can see that this has updated. So we've created, without writing any code at all, we've created a simple to-do list where we can navigate through the screens. We can add records to your cloud database and have those records appear in a list. So you can create a new record with data. We've been able to delete a record within that collection, and we've also been able to update a record in that collection. So well done, everybody. We've got to the end. I hope you've really enjoyed the simple to-do list tutorials. And best, I hope you have fun building this, and that you've enjoyed these videos. Thanks very much, and I will see you in future videos.